What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be looking at n8n, which is an workflow automation container. This is the website for it here, n8n.io, and if you've never heard of n8n before, basically what it does is it's kind of like a no-code way of doing all sorts of automations and like if this, then that's, or one thing triggering another. For example, a cool workflow diagram they have on their website, and you can see all kinds of other flows they have here with these what they call nodes that end in some result. So today we're going to talk about deploying n8n on Docker as well as TrueNAS, and I'm going to set up a sample automation for you guys so you can see just an example about how this container works. To get n8n deployed in TrueNAS, the first thing we're going to do is create a data set for it. So we're going to go into my tank configs here. I'm going to add a data set. I'm going to call this n8n, and I'm going to do apps permissions. And then within n8n, I'm going to create two more data sets. The first data set I'm going to create is going to be for the data itself. So I'm going to add a sub data set here, and this is going to be called data. And again, I'm going to leave it as apps for my preset. And I'm going to do one more for the actual database because n8n uses Postgres to store some data. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this DB. And I'm going to leave it as generic because when we do a TrueNAS install for our database, it's going to overwrite the existing permissions. Hit save, return to my pool list, and this is what it should look like. n8n as apps, data as apps, and then one more for the database itself. Here I am at the app screen. I'm going to go ahead and discover apps, and I'm going to type in n8n, which will take me directly to it. I'm going to go ahead and click install. Jumping over to the wiki, you can go over to productivity apps and then click n8n, and you can click over to the TrueNAS tab. And then here we have 7 steps that we have to adjust when we're doing our n8n deployment on TrueNAS. First one is to set the web host, then database password. And first thing we want to do here is set our web host. I don't want to use localhost. I want to use the IP of my TrueNAS server, which in this case is 1099.0.191. That's my IP. I'm going to set secure passwords for all these databases. For my encryption key, I'm just going to type in some string of characters. This is going to be running on port 30,109. That's fine. If you want to customize a port, you can go ahead and do it. For my storage configuration, I need to change both of these to host paths. So my first one is going to be for the n8n data configuration I made earlier, and select data. And for my Postgres data storage, I'm going to use host path and then DB. Click the automatic permissions checkbox. I can go ahead and add more resources if I want to, but I'm going to leave it here. If you have a lot of resources, go ahead and turn these up. Over here in my docket UI, if I can just start a new stack here called n8n, and I can go over to the wiki page and go to the Docker Compose file and just copy this. Go ahead and remove all of this sample data here. And I have n8n, and it'll show you here, this is the container name. In this case, the port is 5678. Make sure that's open on your machine. I've got some basic auth here. You can go ahead and change this admin and this password. Go ahead and set a webhook URL if you want to use this with a fully qualified domain, like behind a Cloudflare tunnel. Volume out here. In the event that you guys have a pool that's named something different, go ahead and change it here. Once that's done, go ahead and click deploy. The first time we log on to n8n, you're going to be greeted with this setup owner account. So we need to set up an email and a first name and a last name, and the password has to be kind of strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and generate one using my Vault Warden. I'm just going to copy and paste it in here. I'm going to leave this unchecked, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. I'm going to go ahead and just hit get started and skip this. You can go ahead and grab a free license key if you want. We are going to create a workflow that's going to monitor the logs from a Docker container. By starting from scratch, we're going to add about 3 or 4 nodes here in order to grab Docker logs from my TrueNAS host. To do that, to use an SSH node. I'm going to SSH into my TrueNAS machine, and I'm going to pull Docker logs. I'm using a schedule trigger here. For every 5 minutes, I want it to SSH and pull the logs. I'm going to click back to canvas, and we see here we have 2 nodes, the schedule trigger for every 5 minutes, and what's actually being triggered, which is an SSH command. In the bottom left, I'm going to go ahead and recenter my nodes using this button. I'm going to go ahead and create a credential to SSH into my TrueNAS machine. I'm going to create a new credential, put in the IP of my TrueNAS machine, put in my username down here, and put in my password. After I hit save, you'll see I'm now connected with the SSH password account credential. The command we're going to execute is my Docker logs command, because that's what I want to do. I want to grab logs from a container. In this case, the container that I want to get logs from is my Ollama container. Then the container name is this. Let's go ahead and execute this step and see if I can pull these logs. There's all my logs. These are the outputs that I'm getting from this command. Let's go ahead now and create a code node and put some custom JavaScript in here to scrape these logs. Now, I am not a JavaScript coder. So what I did is I just reached out to ChatGPT, and it pretty much gave me this code that searches for these keywords, falling back to CPU, defaulting to CPU, include out of memory, no compatible GPU, or cannot allocate GPU memory. It's going to search for those keywords in the logs, and if it finds them, it's going to kick out this message saying Ollama has fallen back to CPU inference or encountered GPU memory issues. That's what I want to know if one of those things happens. When my code is here, I can execute execute this step, and we can see that no output data was returned because right now that hasn't happened. Go ahead and go back to my canvas. I want to forcibly inject one of those into the output. So grab one of these strings right here. Let's say falling back to CPU. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to come back to my execute command, and I'm going to edit using this pencil, and I'm just going to paste that command right here like that. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit back to canvas, and you'll see now here we have this little purple push pin on my SSH command. What it's doing now is instead of running an SSH command, it's going to use the data I just edited and pass that right to the code node. So let's watch that happen. Let's execute the step. Notice now my alert has triggered true, and I get this message. It detected that little keyword phrase that I injected into the logs, and it has triggered this message that it's actively and correctly scraping my logs and correctly identifying an error. Now that we have an error being kicked out of our little code block, we need something to do with that error. What I wanted to do is I wanted to tell me when something goes wrong. So let's go ahead and put another node in here. Let's put a Discord node in here. So I'm going to do a send a message action on my Discord node. Go ahead and create a webhook and select the credential for my webhook. All I have to do here is paste my webhook URL. This is my Discord server, so I'm gonna go ahead and create a webhook for it. And I'm gonna copy my webhook URL and paste it right here, and hit save. So now I have a Discord webhook URL. I'm gonna send message, and my message I'm gonna pull from the previous node. So the left side of this is the input it's getting from the previous node, and the right side is the output. So you'll notice here, I have a message output from the code block. So let me just click and drag this right into my message like that. See on the top, this is what the JSON code is, and this is what's actually gonna be rendered by that code. So I have the code and the output right there. You click off of that and go ahead and hit execute step. Success is true. So let's go out to Discord, and there it is. Ollama has fallen back to CPU inference or encountered GPU memory issues. Just like that, I created a workflow that every 5 minutes will run, execute an SSH command, pulling the logs from my Ollama container, run it through some code to see whether or not those logs have anything that I need to know about in them, and then send a Discord message to let me know that something was found. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. n8n is super complex because there's so many things you can do with it. Even just on the homepage itself, you can see there are so many cool workflows that they make. If you guys are using this in a really cool way, let me know about your nodes and workflows and how you're using this to automate your home lab. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please leave me some comments. If you want to start a very complicated discussion, please jump on the Discord for servers at home, because that's the better place that we can have back and forth conversation. And if you want to say thank you to me personally, please buy me a coffee.